Hi, I'm Mike Haduck, and today they're doing stamped concrete at the World of Concrete. And I don't do it a lot in Pennsylvania because of our weather, but they're putting a lot of examples out, so I'm going to show you some of them. Here we go.
This is a lot of concrete finishes they put over concrete. It's extra. And they're over here working on it now, doing a demonstration stamping it. I wouldn't do this in Pennsylvania. You'd have to be from southern states to do stuff like this. I'd be afraid to because I'd be doing it again. Oh, this is an overlay?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
In the real world, would you wet the concrete first?
Nope, we have a bonding agent down on here right now that we put down prior.
You have a bonding agent,
yes,
huh?
Sir.
And then what do you do to finish this? You stamp it or what?
We're going to stamp it, yes, sir.
Okay. That's a different way of doing it.
I'll grab 2 let's get this out.
People like that. Now you're moving a little bit.
People like you make it.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad.
I'll tell you what I do like about this pattern though is that it's you don't have to be dealing with lines or anything. You just put it in, and in Pennsylvania we got to cut everything short because of the weather. I do it on real concrete this way. That's the name of this company. We just stamped this concrete. And David Odell's going to talk about it a little bit.
So me and David here is looking at the stamped concrete. This is something I wouldn't do where I live, but in your area.
This is pretty common around here. I don't do it very much. This is an overlay, and it goes down about 3/8 of an inch thick, and it's a stampable overlay mix. You know, it's got some polymers and stuff in it to make it bond. And then they probably put a primer down underneath this, another bonding agent. 3/8 of an inch thick. Get on it early. Use those shoes so you don't leave footprints, also known as bird bath. That way you just place your weight and you can stamp your mats in without using a pounder. Just walk it in real early. You can do any texture you want. That's just one texture. That's like a Roman slate, I think. Something
So
like
for
that.
us, it's just we have 4 stamps: a light, a medium, a coarse, and aggressive.
Okay.
You know, Proline, they make a huge array of stamps, different Roman slates and all those.
Oh, you just call them depending on how much texture's on
Yeah,
there.
that's it.
All right. Yeah, that's simpler.
Okay, so I'm Greg Hensley with Stone Edge Surfaces, and we're at the World of Concrete 2019. We've taken the Stone Edge Surfaces stampable overlay mix and applied it to fresh concrete after it was poured and cured. We applied it at 3/8 of an inch, and then we stamped it out with a seamless skin and bubblegum release agent. Once we stamped that out, then we came back and sprayed one base color of a mist gray on the surface, and once that evaporated away, which took about 30 minutes, walked back out on the project with our shoe-ins with no spikes, and then we were able to hand carve our flagstone pattern into straight lines, very straight, and then come back and open those grout lines up to make a more realistic looking stone by using our banding tool, which I don't have in my hand, but as you can see right there that they're holding.
Yep, that was your banding tool.
That was the banding tool.
So you just went down and you just, basically, you just scraped it.
That's it.
That's it. You just scraped it off there. And then this is like a coloring that went on
It
that
is. So
base.
then we picked 3 different colors.
Right.
And we sprayed them with a misting pattern of a spray bottle onto the individual stones, and then came back and sprayed an antiquing on the individual stones of a darker pigmentation that gets in the crevices to really bring that 3D effect out. And now once this dries, we'll seal it with a solvent-based sealer, pop the colors, give it a nice protectant, be done. So the final seal that we're going to do probably on this flagstone pattern project is about a 25 or a 30% solvent-based sealer, because we like it to really penetrate deeply into the surface of the concrete and let it pop the colors that we've applied to really give that natural look. But it'll settle itself down. It won't look so glassy and glossy, but it'll still give it a nice effect.
I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Now, I really like what they did out there. It's really creative, it really looks good, but in our area, it doesn't work here because our weather is a lot different. We get snow, we get ice, and here's a picture of our weather. It's 34 and then it's 30, it's raining and snow, and then it's 35 and then it's 19 at night. And what happens is it busts all that stuff apart. Well, Mike, if you put a sealer on it, well, what happens around here with concrete is the water gets into the concrete and then it freezes and it busts it apart. If I did that outside, I'd be getting callbacks within 2 years. Now, I would do that inside, say there was a big sun porch, you know, it's all windowed in and it has a roof on it, and the water's not going to get in there, then you could do something like that. Problem with putting sealers on is that just like when you wax a car, it bubbles up. The water bubbles up, it turns to ice, and people are slipping on it. So they go out and they throw salt on it, nice chippers and everything, and it breaks it apart. Now, you know, so me and David were talking there. He says, well, they use stampers there where they don't create bird baths, which was a good idea. You don't want the water laying in anything. I would do it inside, but I wouldn't do it outside. I also want to show you what happens to our sidewalks in our area because of the weather. Here's a perfect example. Now, this is a good example of what happens to sidewalks in our area. This sidewalk is maybe 15 years old, 10 to 15. As we go up here, we're getting up here into the 15 and 20. You can see where the top's falling off. This one is getting pitted. Now you're getting into 20, 25, 30, then you're getting into 30, 40, 40 some years. That's what happens to sidewalks in my area. I also did a video, it's called Sidewalks Old School versus New School. And what I did was I went to China and I was over in Scandinavia. I showed you how they did their sidewalks. The whole point I'm trying to make is you do the right kind of job in the right kind of area. Now, if I was doing a job in Southern California, I'd call up David. I'd say, David, how do you do it here? Or if I was doing stucco up at San Francisco, I'd call Kirk up. Hey, Kirk, how do you do it here? Or if I was doing brickwork over in London, I'd call Stu up. I'd say, hey, what's the man and what do you do here? Everywhere you go in the country is different. They say, well, the experts said this, the experts said that. God bless them. But the best thing I always recommend is ask the local guys what works in their area. I'm over here on my neighbor's step with an ice thing, and I'm doing this to get the ice out. Well, I'm on a patio now, and this is all ice. And people say to me, well, Mike, why don't you throw an ice melt on it? I did a video on that. It's called Ice Melt and Sand. And I usually use sand because you throw the ice melt on it, the calcium chloride, it gets in there, it destroys the concrete. That's why you don't see me do decorative finishes. When I pour concrete, it's usually a smooth finish or a float finish, and I tilt it so the water gets off of there fast. Now, if I go and I have to resurface a driveway that's bad, I just make a paint out of Portland and I paint the driveway. You can see that in how I resurface a driveway. But these are the reasons I do these kind of things. I hope you enjoy the videos. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike Haduck. Until next time.